Welcome back to Rapid7 in 7, where we're discussing how people, process, and technology have an impact on mitigating cyber risk. In the last episode, we talked about capturing and sharing data and how that can help with accurate risk quantification. In this episode, DBS and I are talking about prioritization of said risk, how to create action plans, right, to create stronger cross-functional collaborations between the teams that we've already discussed in the previous episodes, talking about DevOps, security, ownership, etc., etc. So David, thank you again for joining. Once risk is quantified, then the next step is how do we prioritize that, right? How do we actually tackle those risks? So how can teams effectively prioritize actions based on the risk assessments?
Really good question. And there are a number of very kind of relevant or equally useful ways of thinking about this. But one lens that we can potentially look through is this thing, how close to a revenue generating or a customer serving process is this system? So we should absolutely be understanding what our crown jewels are from a revenue generating or from a customer experience point of view. This is really, really important. And the way that we do this, we might have some automated information or tag information assigned based on the cloud account that the resource is in, based on the owner, based on the application resource group that the thing sits in. So all of these are really, really viable kind of ways of thinking about this problem. Secondarily, we probably want to be thinking about who are the VIPs in our organization. So we're seeing a kind of rise in prevalence of things like phishing, smishing, and even cross application kind of impersonation attempts. So actually this identity of a person, be it CFO, CEO, but understanding who the VIPs are in the organization and what they have the ability to do. Are we enforcing appropriate controls like MFA? Are we limiting network access? Are we interrogating device type? All of these things. So this is really, really important in kind of prioritization. And then thirdly rather, where might we get pain from a supply chain or the kind of customers of our customers, what applications will be affecting their world, I suppose, and could it cause us financial damage? So things like a stolen identity, being able to spin up crypto mining machines, this is really, really important. So but it probably most of it boils back down to money and reputation. So we need to understand where we're generating and where we have the ability to expend money, probably.
Yeah. So taking the business view on the importance of those resources, or
it's not necessarily a technical answer to the question. I would say.
So in addition to understanding the business priorities as a whole, right? Because there's a lot of you've highlighted a lot of different components here, so potentially a lot of data. So it's easy to become very overwhelmed by this. So what strategies can teams then use to focus on what really matters?
Yeah, and I think I've used kind of this example before, but we've seen this emergence of DevOps, and that is a role within companies that are experts at using automation, using orchestration to do any number of tasks, from patching or modifying systems to deploying infrastructure to whatever else it happens to be, testing. And I think absolutely, as a security provider, we should be enabling our customers through automation and orchestration. And so we should be integrating into current processes and tools, and we've spoken about this in other episodes, but we need to be integrating into ticketing systems, into workflows, into project plans, into whatever it happens to be. But when there is a glut of data, and we've done an element of prioritization on it, I think there's a bit of an 80-20 rule. Probably 20% of our alert or risk types will generate 80% of our tasks. And so we need to understand what the human action is to remediate or to deal with that risk in a kind of process which we've previously defined, and then understand how much of that process we're comfortable automating, and do testing and do orchestration on moving the human interaction of that element to as far right really in that process line as possible. So like we're enabling customers to use automation to just get through the glut of information which really and risk signals which really exist in their day-to-day lives.
So, which cross-functional teams should then get involved when prioritizing and taking action, and how can they better work together?
Yeah, the answer will be no surprise to you. It's going to be security and security engineering teams for help with the observability. It has to be application owners from a technical and a business standpoint, and it probably has to be someone with a fair degree of seniority that has the ability to set that risk acceptance threshold. So probably someone in the C-suite. We've seen it fall to COOs, we've seen it fall to CEOs, we've seen it even sit in legal, but definitely in partnership with those security organizations that have the ability to offer the context. Prioritization, quantification, it's all the stuff that we've been talking about so far.
And that's all for episode 5. In the next episode, we'll be talking about how to engage business and technical stakeholders within the risk management process.